There's a fucking sale on the Primark. Oh no, last month. Hello, welcome to today's edition of ChatnThat. Today's drink is Hibiki whiskey.
Bought for me by Andre for my birthday, so thank you very much.
Delicious. That's great. And as always, we start the episode with a random piece of news. This week, it was my turn to come up with a news story. So here it goes. Nathan, have you heard of the website Zoosk?
No.
Right. Well, the website Zoosk, I think it's a website or an app.
Probably both these days, isn't it?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It is a dating app.
Yeah.
Okay, and our news story today comes to you
Sponsored by
Zoosk. So, give it a try. So, the story is the story of a woman called Emma Perrier, a French woman living in the UK.
She sounds effervescent. That's a water joke.
God. Right, moving swiftly on. She's living in the UK. She's living in London, working as a barista, part-time restaurant manager, wherever it was. And she was having quite a bit of trouble finding men, finding a partner, finding someone who she could have a relationship with. Right. So after a while, she decided to give this Zoosk a look. She went on there, not really fully committed to it, and she came across the picture of this guy called Ronnie Skilkuna or something like that.
Yeah. Trustworthy name to start off with.
An Italian
trustworthy
man
name
who apparently was living quite close to her in the West Midlands. She liked the picture so much,
bubbling over with enthusiasm.
Exactly. She liked the picture so much that she paid the subscription to Zoosk based solely on the picture.
Solely on Ronnie.
Or Ronnie.
Yeah.
Well, her and Ronnie started chatting away.
Yeah.
Things went swimmingly.
Yeah.
They were talking for, I think, almost a year. They transferred their chat, went away from Zoosk, and they were talking on WhatsApp and whatever. They were calling. So everything was fantastic. There were a few things that seemed to be a little bit off.
Okay. So when they were talking on Zoosk, and that's all they'd done. They didn't decide that they wanted to Skype or anything like that beforehand. Because surely the first thing you do is you'd be like, I want to see some hard evidence that you are who you're purporting to be.
Well,
surely.
I know, but apparently that didn't cross any of their minds.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know, but
she was just going along with the flow.
I think she was going with the flow. It wasn't
a joke.
Oh God, this is going to be the whole episode, isn't it? She was going along with it. She was. I don't know if she was like that into it necessarily in the beginning. So she was like tentatively going.
Okay, yeah.
Through the motions. So anyway, a few things started going wrong or started not really adding up. Like the fact that she once texted him in Italian. He was supposed to be Italian, remember, and he didn't know what she was on about.
Yeah.
Then later gave the excuse of not.
You're Italian shit. Sorry, I just didn't.
Different dialect.
Your accents are terrible.
It's different dialect. No, he just gave the excuse of like his parents not having taught him to speak Italian or whatever it was. But then other things happened that raised her suspicions, and then one day a co-worker suggested to her that this might all be a ruse. Catfishing, I think it's called.
It is called catfishing, yeah.
There we go. So, turns out that she got more and more suspicious, and she then went on this app to find the origin of the photo.
Yeah.
Right? So there's an app that you can get where...
I've seen them do that on Catfish. They'll put and it'll come up and be some supermodel.
Catfish is a TV program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you seen Catfish before? It's really good. It's so funny. It's like heart wrenching.
Right.
You know.
Well, wait. I didn't like this story in the beginning. Wait until the end. Okay. But anyway, so turns out, shocker, this guy was not who he claimed he was. This guy was Ronnie Shilkuna, whatever his name was in fact real name Alan Stanley. as is described in the article, a short, balding,
You know what?
53-year-old shop fitter
And he just
in Stratford-upon-Avon.
cuts like a knife, doesn't he, Alan Stanley? Cuts like a knife.
Anyway, so people from Stratford-upon-Avon apparently quite good at fabricating stories.
Yeah.
This picture that she originally found out, it wasn't his picture. It turned out to be from is a picture of a man called Adam Güzel, a Turkish model. So she then thought later on, she was like, maybe I should warn this guy that somebody's using his photo to catfish, to hook up with. Yeah. Well, I don't know what you do because you never get to the hooking up stage anyway. So she thought, okay, I'll message this guy, warning him that people are using his photos on the internet. So she did, and initially he didn't really respond until he did eventually, and that started a conversation, and now they're together as a couple. So now she did get the picture in the end that she wanted. She paid for the subscription on Zoosk. She got the picture, and now she's going out with the Turkish model. So Zeus works, people.
There you go. And if you use the promo code ChatnThat, one free boyfriend or girlfriend in the next month.
You never know what you're going to get.
Today's big, exciting topic is Scientology. And who better to inform you all in a very precise and concise and informative way what exactly Scientology is than the man Tommy Cruise himself. So Tommy, what is Scientology?
Take it away, Tom.
I think it's a privilege to call yourself a Scientologist, and it's something that you have to earn. And because a Scientologist does, he or she has the ability to create new and better realities and improve conditions. Being a Scientologist, you look at someone and you know absolutely that you can help them. When I read it, I just went, this is it. This is exactly it. We are the authorities on getting people off drugs. We are the authorities on the mind. We are the authorities on improving conditions. Criminon, we can rehabilitate criminals. Way to happiness, we can bring peace and unite cultures. And I have to tell you something, it is, it's rough and tumble, and it's wild and woolly, and it's a blast. It's a blast. It really is fun. Because damn it, there is nothing better than to going out there and fighting a fight, and suddenly you see things are better. I do what I can, and I do it the way I do everything. There's nothing part of the way for me. It's just...
Okay, so now we're all 100% informed as to what exactly what Scientology is. No more questions need to be asked. You know what it is. So, what is Scientology then?
Well, that's the thing. If you go on their website, which we have done, they have some very good catchphrases.
The video editing is on fleek.
The marketing, the image, the design, great. But you have no idea.
They've just they've packaged nothing.
Yeah.
It's like you open up, you get a box, and it's a beautifully ribboned box, and you open it, and it's just
all you get
nothing.
Is perseverance, self-reliability.
It's just it's like
be the best you can.
A lucky dip of just nonsense quotes.
Exactly. So what is then Scientology?
Well, according to Scientology is a religious system based on seeking self-knowledge, spiritual fulfillment through graded courses. Right?
Yeah.
That's what Scientology is.
And that's
clear. So what the hell does that mean? What does that mean?
So let's first see how this Scientology thing came to be.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
how did this Scientology business
come to pass?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Scientology is based entirely on the musings of a man called L. Ron Hubbard. Okay? L. Ron Hubbard was a prolific science fiction writer.
Yeah.
When you first say to somebody, we're going to make you better, or we want to make you better, he immediately asks the question, better what? Bank robber, of course, say he wanted to become a better bank robber. Now, somebody who has lumbosis, a weird disease that is only known in Scientology. Well, he thinks you're talking about making his lumbosis better. Now, the difficulty then is one of communication. And communicating what we are trying to do in Scientology to somebody who has no inkling that that can happen is difficult. And one of the most difficult things in the world is to tell somebody who thinks he's a body that he is himself.
Fictional. Right?
Not only was he a prolific science fiction writer, apparently he was the most prolific the most proficient fiction writer of all time.
Yeah.
He has written more books
than anybody else.
More things that didn't happen.
So, than anyone else. And then so he writes this, and everyone goes, well, it might have happened, mightn't it? Might have happened.
Yeah.
At least with other religions, you don't know who wrote your Bible or anything. And so you go, well, you can't prove that to be wrong. You literally know the guy.
Have you heard that quote about the difference between a cult and a religion?
No.
So it goes something along the lines like, the difference between a cult and religion is that in a cult, there's a guy who invented it. He knows it's bullshit.
Yeah.
And everything that he wrote is absolute bullshit. The difference between that and a religion is that in a religion, that guy's dead.
Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. So basically, L. Ron Hubbard writes loads of science fiction, and then all of a sudden, he decides that he's a scientist, right? He says he's many things. He says he was in the Navy, he's a scientist. Anyway, he writes this thing called Dianetics, okay? Now, Dianetics is used in Scientology. It's also used in the Nation of Islam, and it's used in other individual, like Scientology groups, like fringe groups.
But he didn't. Did he come up with the term Dianetics?
I think he did come up with the term Dianetics. Basically, what Dianetics does is it seeks to erase parts of what they call the reactive mind.
Okay.
And the reactive mind is all of the bad decisions you make. Everything comes from the reactive mind.
So, like, subdue your sort of animalistic,
your drives, your inner drives to make you a better person, right? So, you want to become a Scientologist. You arrive at the Scientology place, the Scientology Center, and you have to go through this process of auditing, which is Dianetics. Auditing is a part of Dianetics. It's the process they use. It's the process of you getting to know what is your reactive mind is doing. Yeah. So this is where it starts to get a little bit complicated, right? Because according to L. Ron Hubbard, you are reincarnated constantly, and there are engrams of bad feelings in your mind that you need to talk about.
And is that a racist engram?
And I don't think, I'm not sure. Maybe well, he was many things, but I don't know.
He might have been that.
He might have been that. And so basically, what you have to do is you're given like a primitive lie detector meter called an E-meter. Right. And
this fucking thing we have to put a photo on. Yeah. But it's basically two cylinders that you grab, like two soup cans or whatever it is, and it supposedly measures
the electrical flow in your body. Yeah. Apparently, the electrical charge in your body changes when you're thinking. This is Scientology science.
Scientology science.
The flow in your body changes of electricity when you are thinking about bad things, right? But what it really is when you think bullshit. Yeah, bollocks. When you think of something that's sort of a bit upsetting or whatever, you get a bit tense. You know.
You reckon it spikes?
So these two tin can things, you know, if you squeeze them a bit hard, then it spikes. And basically, if if you're sitting here and we're auditing and you've got the
Yeah.
two things in your hand and I say, okay, think of something bad that's happened to you, and I'll go, oh, that's spiked. And then you'll think, oh my God, how did he know that I was thinking about something
So
bad?
yeah, the process of auditing then is like trying to get at your deepest secrets.
Exactly.
It's essentially, ironically, a bit like psychology, isn't it?
Yeah, it is like psychology, but Scientologists hate
Yeah.
anything to do with psychology. They think they are completely different, but it is psychology. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're asking you to relay all these things about you, these secrets. Now, what's the point of this? Well, the whole point is that eventually you go clear.
Right.
Okay? And when
by releasing yourself,
you release
from
your
this,
engrams.
the engrams, the reactive mind.
Yeah.
You reach a higher
plane.
Yeah.
And then once you've gone clear, you never have bad feelings again, bad things don't happen to you, or you're able to deal with any of your problems because you've gone clear, right? And once you go clear, you then you don't have to, but there are then 8 other steps above going clear.
Right.
To what they then call an operating thetan.
Okay, so because this is what you start up by being. So you enroll, basically, the way that you get there is you enroll in these courses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think you get to be an OT straight away.
No.
OT operating
thetan. And your soul is like your thetan. That's the whole. That's what it is.
So like you are not a body. The thetan is the thing that
it's like your spirit or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the thing that is born again and whatever. It's been around for millions of years. So so basically, you do this course and then you get to a place called the Bridge.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, when you start on day 1 in Scientology, you're on what they call the bridge, right? You start on the bridge, okay?
Right.
And then you move your way up the bridge all the way to the top of being an operating thetan.
And the way that you do that is by
doing these courses.
And then you get to operating thetan level
8.
Well, before that,
right?
There's
Yeah,
different stages. So you start by like OT 0 or OT 1.
Yeah.
And then purely by auditing, I don't remember ever reading any other. I mean, I'm sure there's other things that they have to do.
There are other courses that people go.
But the auditing is the main thing.
Is the main thing, yeah.
And then you sort of ascend OT 1, OT 2, OT 3, blah, blah, blah. And at every point, supposedly, you are given, or you kind of understand better what you're sort of one step closer to being clear.
Yeah,
to being
exactly.
Enlightened.
Enlightened, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, once you've gone clear, because going clear was the end of it, and then in a couple like years ago, I'm not sure the date, but it was like maybe in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Going clear was that you were clear, and then L. Ron Hubbard decided, oh no, you're not clear anymore. You've still got another 8 stages above that to become an operating
I wonder
thetan.
why.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that in a nutshell is what it all is about.
Yeah, basically what is your...
But the dangerous thing with auditing is the fact that you tell them everything about you.
You tell all.
Your secrets. You're supposed to tell them all of your deepest and darkest secrets.
Yeah,
okay?
Of course.
So what do? They write it all down and they file it away.
Yeah.
So everything...
they've got a record
of
every single minute detail of every single one of their members.
Exactly, yeah. And they file it away just in case.
Just in case. In case what?
Yeah.
But so coming back a little bit to the main man,
LRH.
He not only was he a prolific science fiction writer, he apparently, and I've heard this, he started this Dianetics thing, and he started the whole Scientology thing as an actual way to help himself, because I think he was quite troubled. He had a lot of demons, as they say.
Yeah.
And he started this to help himself, I think, because is one of the theories. And within this organization that he started, there was an elite part. So you got sort of commoner Scientologists, but there was the elite.
Yeah.
And the elite was called the Sea Org.
The Sea Org. Yeah.
The Sea Organization.
Now, that name used to make sense because they used to have boats and things, and they would actually be on a boat, and they dress like captains or whatever.
In the Navy.
Yeah, actually in the Navy. Now they're still called the Sea Org, but all they do is go around handing out leaflets to people.
Yeah.
I was really shocked when I thought, how if you can say you're in the Sea Org, how cool is that? But
You got a
actually, no.
uniform and everything?
But the worst thing about it, or the most amazing thing, is that you have to sign a billion-year contract when you join.
Well, of course, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
Because your Thetan is still going to be
Gonna reincarnate, and you need Scientologists forever.
Exactly. If you die and you're, say, OT3, does your Thetan come with, like, saved game data? It's good. Well, excuse me, I think you'll find that I was already OT3.
But I mean, that's a big financial investment, isn't it? Like you want to get.
Well, we haven't gotten into that part yet.
No, not yet. But another thing is, what if the reincarnation's right, but you come back as like a turtle? Like, what if they're right and we do reincarnate? Are you still a Scientologist?
You couldn't audit because you don't have opposable thumbs.
Just keep falling out your flipper.
Try again in the next life.
Yeah. But still keep paying, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
The Sea Org is rife with controversy, but we'll come on to...
Yeah, and basically, like, as a sort of pre-thing to what we're going to go into now, is within the LRH period, it all seemed quite bonkers, but at the same time, quite... innocent in a way.
What I think is when you first rock up at one of these things, if you're a spiritual person,
we're in the 50s, 60s.
In the 50s and 60s, if you're a spiritual person, you believe in reincarnation, a lot of what LRH says makes sense to you, okay? Because they're saying you've got these bad memories. It is based in sort of fact and logic, except he's just put this insane twist on it.
Yeah.
And so it hooks you in because you go, I can actually relate to that.
Yeah.
I've got these bad feelings, and I feel better for talking about these feelings.
Yeah.
As everyone knows,
it was at a time where it was prime time, prime era to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Spirituality and all of these things. So, and like something that would be non-conforming to the sort of big religions at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
So
you don't want to get involved in a big religion, you get involved in Scientology. And because it's got science in front of it, people seem to think that they're somehow... that it's based in any way in fact.
Yeah. But like the sense that I got from what we've looked at and what we've seen is that it was quite innocent in a way. It was quite a naive thing when LRH was doing it.
Yeah.
But then in 1986, LRH dies, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And they obviously need a successor to the Church of Scientology, and in comes Mr. David Miscavige.
Dave.
And before we get into Crazy Dave, Tiny Dave. Before we get into that, we can have a look at how LRH death was announced and how David Miscavige reacted and kind of
very upset by it.
Yeah, so have a look.
He has now moved on to his next level of OT research. This level is beyond anything any one of us ever imagined. This level is in fact done in an exterior state, meaning that it is done completely exterior from the body. At this level of OT, the body is nothing more than an impediment and encumbrance to any further gain as an OT. Thus, at 2000 hours Friday, the 24th of January, AD 36, L. Ron Hubbard discarded the body he had used in this lifetime for 74 years, 10 months, and 11 days. The body he had used to facilitate his existence in this messed universe had ceased to be useful, and in fact, had become an impediment to the work he now must do outside of its confines.
Okay, so you can see there that it was probably the worst time of David Miscavige's life.
Definitely. That and finding out that he would never grow more than his 5 feet.
There's a height restriction. You're not allowed to be a Scientologist if you're taller than a beach ball. It's very much inflated.
So yeah, David Miscavige is now, he takes over, and things turn quite dark.
Yes.
I would say. It becomes very much like a I don't know how I would put it necessarily. It becomes more or less kind of like a totalitarian dictatorship regime organization kind of thing.
Because basically, once the founder dies, it then sort of turns into a classic religion, because this guy's dead now. He is now the Messiah.
Yeah,
and David Miscavige can get away with saying, but this is what LRH would have wanted, this is what he said, and then he told me that, blah, blah, blah. And no one can now can ask him, what do you think about the way it's being run now?
Yeah.
So, and the way David Miscavige got into power as well, there was a lot of backstabbing. There were other people running to be the head, and the consensus among the people like Marty Rathbone, and we're going to talk about who he is, but he was a high level Scientologist who then defected and now is back again. But we'll talk about that. Is that he basically LRH wanted it to be run by a committee.
Yeah, by the Sea Org.
By the Sea Org, and David Miscavige was like, no, he did not really, I'm the boss now. Yeah. And so he just took over like that.
Yeah, and it was also interesting that during David Miscavige's reign, they keep apparently uncovering new writings.
Yeah.
I was clearing out the sea building,
sea
whatever
closet.
The hell is the sea closet, and I had found this manuscript.
Yeah, and that they're copying his words that he said, his fictional madness.
Really?
They're chiseling them into stone and burying them underground. Because did you not know that?
No.
Because they think the world's going to end, and when the world ends and we carry on,
oh good Lord.
Then we need someone's words, and they're going to be the words of LRH.
These people, good Lord. Anyway, but the truth of the matter is that David Miscavige has run this very much like a totalitarian organization, like an army, really.
Yeah,
but with some success, because one of the big things, to me anyway, about this whole thing is that they are tax exempt.
Yeah,
they are a religious organization and therefore are tax exempt. Now, LRH tried to do this in his lifetime. He tried to get tax exemption for Scientology, and he couldn't, because obviously people were like, no, that's quite clearly bollocks.
Yeah.
You just wrote that like you did all of the other books that you wrote.
Yeah.
But during David Miscavige's sort of leadership, they have managed to get this, and how they managed to get this is pretty much an example of how they just run everyday business.
So basically, it was this guy Marty Rathbone, and he was the head of, I think it was it special operations that he was
Something
the head
like
of.
that.
Basically, he harassed. Do you know how much they owed? What is it, the IRS in America?
Yeah, IRS.
Do you know how much they owed
No.
the IRS?
No.
$1 billion.
What?
They didn't pay it.
They hadn't paid since the beginning.
They don't pay it from the beginning. They were like, it's a religion, and they didn't have to pay it because they just ground them down.
Yeah.
It's the classic. It's the methodology that they've got. They have got this just attack.
Yeah, and basically when we say attack here is like phone calls, faxes,
Yeah.
just
People knocking on the door.
inundated
Yeah.
IRS offices, whatever, with paperwork. And paperwork and paperwork and paperwork. And basically they just won through exhaustion.
It just wasn't worth it for them, was it? They just went,
okay, whatever.
yeah, pay them. Pay the nutters then.
Yeah. So that shows you the tactics. And then this is just what they did to achieve an objective that was very much one of their objectives. But for other things, it's much more obscure. So still within the money thing, money is a big deal.
Oh yeah, it's a business, because LRH said it is a business, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, this isn't a religion, this is anything else. We are here to make money.
Yeah.
That's all they care about is making
And
money.
how do they make money? Well, courses.
Courses.
Right. So these courses that we mentioned,
So
how much?
what they do is I feel like we've not explained what people in Scientology believe, but the reason for that is that they don't believe anything.
Yeah.
Like, there is no sort of... The only thing that they believe is that you can get rid of these bad memories by auditing.
I think they're given this promise that at the end of this whole process, this whole going up the bridge thing, that they will reach enlightenment and self-awareness, self-knowledge. And that's what I think hooks people, because you never do get that. There's nothing to believe.
Exactly.
What you believe is the promise that if you continue doing the things that they say that you need to do,
you're going to float.
When you get to the end,
you
will find out that there's 8 more courses that you need to pay for.
But these courses, the way they do it is you pay $15 or more or thereabouts, and you get something like 50 hours of contact. $15 for 50 hours of contact, right? So you go, wow. For the first one.
Yeah.
Second one, it goes up. Third one, it goes up. It goes up and up and up. And we saw, didn't we, that to go clear.
Yeah, to get to OT8.
To go clear. Because remember,
after OT8.
OT8 is 8 levels after going clear.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So you go clear, and it costs about, was it $5,000?
Yeah.
And then if you want to go to OT8, it's going to cost you another.
And then at every level of OT, it's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
And so what happens when you become an OT operating thing level 8? Okay, this is the question. So at this point in Scientology, you are what, $8,000 deep. Yeah. And this is from courses, because don't forget you're supposed to pay contribution as well.
Yes,
and
like tax.
Some people have paid like
and you work.
Oh yeah,
effectively work for Scientology
for like
€15
nothing.
A week. Yeah, $15 a week.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. Yeah.
And so you arrive at this operating Thetan level 8. And they take you into a room, and this is what Marty Rathbun, I think he was the guy who gave the information to the people. So you sit down, and they get out this box, and so they open the box and they give it to you, and it's this handwritten note by L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah. And you read the note, and there's somebody there who says, "Has the note been read?" And then you have to say, "Yes." "Has it been understood?" "Yes, the note has been read and understood." Right. $8,000 in debt here, just for the courses. God knows how much else money they've made you spend. So, Xenu.
Oh, wait a minute, but Xenu is not... We're not even talking OT8. This is OT3.
Is that 3?
Yeah, because I saw Leah Remini on Joe Rogan.
Oh, yeah.
And she went to OT3 and found out about Xenu. Do you want to say what Xenu is?
Xenu, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, operating thing level 3 then. Xenu rocks up. And he's meant to just be the guy who basically created life on Earth. No, it says on this document that human life came out of a volcano, and life started, from a volcano. Xenu lives on a planet Nibiru or something, and it's clearly just his science fiction writings. He's written down,
of course.
And this, I think, OT3 seems to be the level where people go,
yeah, well,
because
they do, but then they stay though. Because this.
Yeah, but how do you? Well, first of all, they stay for the reasons that you're really deep in debt.
Yeah.
You've audited for years, and they know things about you that no one else does. And if you try and leave, that's all going to come out.
And that brings us into exactly the next big thing, which is. Leaving Scientology. Basically, say I want to not be whatever religion. Okay, I'm not. But if you want to leave Scientology, it's not the same.
You sort of can't.
Yeah.
If you leave Scientology, they cut, because most people, if you're a family, everyone's a Scientologist.
Oh, yeah. You can't be.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't be you can't be married and not both be
a Scientologist.
So it's a full-time thing.
Yeah.
Totalitarian.
It completely consumes your life. Yeah. And so you're cut off from your family. You can't speak to them.
Yeah, it's called disconnecting.
Disconnecting, yeah. And you become an oppressive person.
Suppressive person. An SP.
An SP, yeah.
SP.
An
suppressive person. So
you're
as soon as you decide to leave, you're considered a suppressive person.
Yeah.
People who have ties with you are forced to disconnect with you, which means not talk to you at all, basically. And let's say you manage that part. So so that's straight away something that is difficult to do. You're effectively leaving behind everybody that you know.
Yeah.
So let's imagine that you take that step quite easily. You leave. You are now a suppressive person. That doesn't end there. basically you get all sorts of shit.
You are followed. You are harassed.
Yeah.
And I think at this point it would be good to show everyone Marty Rathbun and what he says happened to him. This is a guy who used to run the section
Special
of Scientology that harasses people.
The SS.
Right? The SS, of Scientology. So this is what he's got to say about what's happened to him.
They've sent agents in on me. They've sent agents provocateur in on me. Every time I go to an airport, they've got PIs or Scientologists confronting me.
Right, so you can easily see there what the techniques they are, the techniques that they use to do this, to harass people.
There's a really famous technique called so a person who, apart from being an SP, a person who defects is also called a squirrel.
A squirrel, yeah.
And they also have these like squads of people called the Squirrel Busters, and their objective is just to basically harass you and just annoy the crap out of you. And like have a look at this video, and you'll see exactly what we mean about these Squirrel Busters.
It makes me feel good. You know, you can actually get your ethics to Marty. That would be the thing.
Stop committing suppressive acts. Full-time suppressive acts. Full-time.
So these guys basically destroyed lives. Like it's just ridiculous. So the main controversy really is, I think the price of it is a controversy in itself. No religion you should have to pay to go up the ranks to get closer to. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. The biggest controversy is how difficult it is to leave, because this is not even like, this isn't even the most difficult one. Let's say like we were just explaining people who just sort of decides to leave.
Yeah.
But not everybody has that option. Like there's this thing, really dark thing called the hole.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what the hole is?
Right. The hole is this. They've got in Riverside County, California. David Miscavige has bought this like sort of bunker style building, right? And if you annoy him, Marty Rathbun mentioned about people would just annoy him and you'd be sent to the hole.
And he's got quite a short temper. That's a major joke.
And so in the hole, you're sent to the hole by him, and it's sort of like a prison, basically. Yeah. And you have to stay there until he decides that you can come out.
Yeah, it's like detention.
It's like detention, yeah. It is like detention. And the problem is that if the FBI went there and tried to bust it, everyone in there would say, but I want to be here. Yeah. There's nothing you could do about it.
The levels of brainwash
are insane. Like,
but then, presumably what started happening is that recently, because there were so many detractors, and I think that's been brought about by the internet. Like, after the internet, it's quite difficult to keep people from accessing information. So I think you start seeing more and more detractors now. But I think because of that, he created this whole thing. So it's not now as easy as just saying I'm out. Now, if there's an inkling, especially if you're like quite an important person in Scientology, if there's an inkling that you might be turning suppressive SP, they'll just put you in the hole. Which then brings us to the next thing, which is, one of the people whose whereabouts are unknown.
Well, this all stems from Leah Remini was at Tom Cruise's wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. And
check out her interview on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So she's at Tom Cruise's wedding. She sees David Miscavige there. She just says to him, "Hey, Dave, I've not seen your wife Shelley for a while." Shit hits the fan, right? You haven't got the right to ask that. That's nothing to do with you. Blah, blah, blah. She's not been seen in public for 5 years.
5 years,
right? Apparently, yeah. And she went to the FBI, Leah Remini, or she went to the police there.
She went to the FBI.
She went to the FBI. It was the FBI.
Yeah.
And they got back to her and said, "Look, we found Shelley," and she says that she's happy where she is.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and apparently she's been locked away by David Miscavige in one of his like holiday homes or something. He's got I can't remember the town name at all, but it's a small town. You know, he's got this house just on the outskirts of it.
It's not the base.
No, it's not the base. She has to go in with guards. Apparently, people have seen her. She looks really, you know, pale and she's just been there for a long, long time.
Shit.
So whatever Shelley's done,
that's some dark.
it is dark. Yeah, I mean, because this guy just runs it. He can do whatever he wants. He's God to these people. Like the final controversy that we need to get in there is about Paulette Cooper, right? Paulette Cooper was a journalist, and she wrote a book called The Scandal of Scientology. If you try and badmouth Scientology in any way, you're going to get in trouble, right?
Yeah, important to say as well that everybody who's left, especially like if they get some exposure, they have websites created about them to basically discredit them completely. Yeah. Leah Remini has this, Marty Rathbone presumably had this as well. Yeah.
So this journalist, Paulette Cooper, she writes Scandal of Scientology, and the Scientologists say, "Oh, we're not having that." So what they do is they break into her office and they steal her stationery, right?
What? They steal her stationery?
They steal her stationery. They steal her pens.
Okay.
And they steal the paper, because it's like got a header on it with her name. Okay. So they write a bomb threat to themselves with the stationery and send it to themselves.
Okay.
So they then go to the police and say, "We've had a bomb threat from this person. We don't know who it is." Police run a fingerprint check. It turns out it's Paulette Cooper. They arrest her.
Was this in Clearwater where they have their base?
I don't know that this is...
Because there's rumours that they're like in the police.
In the police, yeah. Well, probably. I'm sure they are. Yeah. But so she goes to court, and basically it ends up coming out that it wasn't Paulette Cooper. It was an inside job. They know it was the guys from Scientology who'd done it, and she is let off. But she could have gone to prison.
Okay, she was let off. Okay.
Yeah, for a long time.
Right.
So that's the lengths that these people will go to. That's crazy. I don't know whether we should put this video out or not, because I don't want to get a Scientologist knocking on my door.
I know. I mean, that's why we haven't said
where
we're filming from.
We've got our own bunker, so you come and get us, Scientologists. You never find us.
Bring it, bitches.
Right. So I think there's so much to Scientology that
it's difficult.
It's difficult to get it all in.
I reckon, just as an end note as well, I'm just gonna say, like, just as a curiosity, all of these people who have left. I mean, we talked about Leah Remini.
Yeah.
Have a look at her. Very famous. She's famous. Famous person. David Miscavige's dad.
Yeah.
Has left, and he's written a book about him.
Check that out.
Yeah, check that out.
He's got an interview on Joe Rogan.
On Joe Rogan as well. So many other people. I think Lisa Presley was in there. There's loads of like celebrities that are still.
John Travolta is still a Scientologist.
John Travolta, Beck, Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
A few other ones. So loads of people have left, but there's still loads of people in. And we recently had a case of somebody who left, and apparently is now back in.
Yeah.
So this Marty Rathbone
is now after writing 3 books about the dangers of Scientology.
Like the biggest escape from Scientologists,
is now back in again.
Wrote 3 books, participated in at least 2 documentaries that we watched exposing this, and now all of a sudden, like 3 months ago or something like that,
he's back in again.
He's like on YouTube saying that everybody who's denouncing Scientology is full of shit.
Yeah. And so they've got something on him, or they've paid him off.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things.
And that is the obscure note that we are, like the dark note that we're gonna like leave you on. Yeah. Basically, like it's not as easy as like we're out.
No.
I would have said, like, if we're looking into the future of this, I think that they're gonna disappear, especially if they lose their
tax
exempt status. But if they can still manage to get people who are one of their biggest detractors to come back in, then these people are like these people are way more powerful and have way more means than we realize and give them credit for.
Well, if you're interested in learning more about Scientology, we'll put a link in the description to all of the Joe Rogan interviews. Yeah. Go and Clear documentaries. There's some documentaries on Netflix as well. Go and Clear's on there. Yeah. There's a My Scientology documentary, I think, as well. And yeah, there's just so much stuff on YouTube.
And in the interest of fairness, we're going to put the Scientology website as well.
Yeah, we'll put that there, yeah.
Just in case.
I mean, we're not SPs at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Just in case you want to check it out.
So, thanks for joining us on this edition of ChatnThat, and we'll see you next week.